LP with S&W Service and Repair, and today we're going to talk about building a solid appliance repair business. But I want to give you my personal journey, what I went through, how I started, and just, so you can see that it's not a straight line. I know many of you guys have probably started other businesses or thought about other businesses, and transitioning into the appliance repair business is something that you're just uncertain of. And I was the same way. I had some other businesses and I had some other things going on, so it wasn't just a jump right in. So let me go through here, and I got notes, so we'll go through these notes. I have actually a slideshow that I put together, so we'll go through it and we'll give you a rundown. All right, so today I want to share my personal journey, how I went from a few other businesses to running my appliance repair company. It wasn't easy. There were a lot of roadblocks, a lot of things that didn't go as planned, but it was well worth it. I make real good money, as you probably heard me say in some of my other videos, and I want you guys to kind of get the gist of what I've been through, so that you'll know that I'm just like you, you're just like me. We're all out here just trying to figure this thing out. No one knows the exact recipe, and no one knows your journey. Everybody's journey is going to be a little bit different, but I can give you some of the things that I went through, and you might see them and you might not coming up in your business. But I'm going to give you my personal journey today, and we'll kick it off with the next slide here. Look at me. All right, just kind of the introduction. As a kid, I always had big dreams. I always thought about being rich and wanted to be rich, but I think every kid has those dreams and aspirations, but I never really had a why. And as I started to make more money, first with my full-time job, I started to spend more money. But as you go through those phases, I started to kind of understand why I wanted money and what I wanted to do with money. And we'll get into that. But growing up, I always had the thoughts in the back of my mind that I wanted to own my own business. Ever since we used to see Donald Trump on the rap videos, everybody mentioned Donald Trump's name as a real estate mogul. I wanted that. I tried to buy a house in '08 in Dallas off of Camp Wisdom and Greenspan. Had the house under contract and everything. It was $35,000 for this 2-bedroom, 2-bath house right there. But, the economy went to crap, and I had to forfeit my earnest money on that one. A little $500 lesson. I was trying to get into the real estate game, just like Donald Trump. So, I know there's a lot of hate going around right now, and you're either on this side of the fence or that side of the fence. But growing up, I thought that's what I wanted to be, and I wanted to be rich. So some of the first side hustles / businesses that I started, I was reselling fire sticks. I got really good at Cody, and I was making really good money. If you know, back in the day. So that's one of my first deals. My next one was just eBay reselling. I got into that. I was watching Reezy Resales, and there were a bunch of other guys that I don't remember all of them, but I was in that community for about a good 3 years, and I was really doing really well. I went from my garage to a warehouse, and that was crazy. If I can find those pictures, I'll show them. I had my whole garage full of trash bags. I had just accumulated and built connections where I could get inventory at a really, really good price, sight unseen. And I filled up my garage to the point where my wife was like, "You gotta get out of here." So I went to a warehouse from there. And kind of the basis of this, the reason I transitioned was I went to Disney. Took my family to Disney and met my cousins down there. We were down there and having a good time, and everything was great until it wasn't. I thought I'd put my store in a certain space, and it really didn't go that way. And me and eBay have just a love-hate relationship at this point. Next, I started learning appliance repair, and as I was transitioning out of the eBay store, I was learning appliance repair, and that was my journey out to North Carolina, and then back home, setting up my entity and everything like that. So the reality started to sink in that I was transitioning, and my feelings toward eBay had hardened a little more. So I got into appliance repair, and it was slow times at first. We'll go over that. We'll go over the warranty companies and cash calls. Also, the power of YouTube. I've been on a couple of podcasts, and just off of YouTube, I have a great mentor. And when I'm ready to take that next step, I'll be paying to help take that next step. I think it's important to have a mentor, just like in boxing. I'm a really big boxing fan. I grew up watching all the fights. You remember, if you old enough to remember, they used to have the brown cable boxes they would have on the set top, and then you go to the barber shop, and somebody worked at the cable company would sell a card or come out and put a card in, and you could watch all the pay-per-view you wanted. Well, my dad had that, so we had fight parties at the house every time there was a major fight. I just grew up on boxing, really loved it, and I probably should have took myself and put myself in boxing lessons, but I tried to push that love of boxing off on my son, and I had him in boxing for about a year and a half, and he did it because he was young, but his heart wasn't in it. He's a basketball player through and through, and it's hard trying to push off your dreams, aspirations, and loves on your kids, and that's a lesson for everybody. I don't think it's something that we should be doing, let them be who they are, but it's a fine line. You have to introduce them to it. All right, let me get to the next slide. All right, my first hustle was fire sticks. My first step into this unglamorous entrepreneur lifestyle where I was getting my hands and feet wet were fire sticks. Amazon, Best Buy, anywhere I could get a fire stick, program it, and resell it. I had my job on fire. I still get asked to this day, hey, you got any fire sticks? You still do that? And for several years now, it's been no, 5, 6 years I hadn't done that. But that was my first taste of actually having a side hustle that really made money, that I made a profit from. I was doubling my money, sometimes a little bit more, and it wasn't too hard. Maybe about 30 minutes of work that was involved. It was just the hardest thing was actually getting the fire sticks at a certain point after you exhausted how many you could get on Amazon, and the trials and tribulations of programming these things and accidentally leaving your information up on the fire stick where people were charging things under your name. That was funny. I had this one guy, and he kept telling me, hey man, I got this, and this. And I'm like, man, you shouldn't have like Netflix and all this on that thing, like the actual app Netflix, but he was under my stuff. Oh man. But hey, that's neither here nor there, but it was a great time, great experience. I learned a lot doing that, and I wouldn't advise anybody to do that now, but back then, that's when I first started to get a taste of having outside money from the 5 to 9, the job that I had. So yeah, that was a great experience there. After that, I slowly got into reselling, and I spent hours looking for items to flip, at thrift stores or garage sales. And that was pretty good because I had a buddy who was doing it, and he was into vintage clothes. Oh, Roy. And he got me into it. I started looking, and he was doing it as a hobby because he liked the vintage stuff, the Supreme, the old Levi's. And I was just in it for the money. I would, go to these YouTubers and find their list of the hottest items, and then I would go search out those items, and kind of started to dig into the numbers myself on eBay and figure out what was hot and what was selling. And then I kind of broke out on my own and just found a niche, which was women's clothing. I built a relationship with a thrift store by going in there so many times over and over, and taking advice from some of the YouTubers when they would say to actually go ahead and build relationships with the people in the thrift stores, because they know what they have and they know when shipments are coming or when they're going to put out new items. So I built those relationships, and they started to pay dividends at this one thrift store. The manager, she had a load from another thrift store that they would be in just black trash bags, just sight unseen, mostly clothes, but sometimes there would be costume jewelry, there would be perfumes, there would be shoes, other items off in there. So I would buy these large quantities of black bags, and I would have at the time I had an Explorer and I had my Tahoe, and I would just have the whole back seat, the whole back end just full. I couldn't even see out of my rear view mirror back there. It's full of clothes. And it grew from my garage to having probably 250 black 55-gallon trash bags in my garage. It was just ungodly. Like, what are you doing? It looked like a hoarder's place because I couldn't go through process them fast enough. So stuff started sitting. So my wife really got upset with me about this. Like, we can't even walk out here. So I started looking for a warehouse, and eventually I ran across one. I had to go through the city, get the power cut on. It was just a whole ordeal, having the fire extinguisher on the wall like it was an actual place of business. Business bank account, business cell phones. I set it up like a business, and it really taught me a lot of things, but also it ran me thin, and it started to weigh on my wife because I was gone at the warehouse so much. But I was making money, so it was one of those gray areas in our marriage that really tested her, because I was always gone. I was either at my job, and when I got out of my job, I was staying there trying to go through clothes, sort clothes. After you sorted the clothes, what was what you could sell, what you couldn't sell, then you would go through and steam them. There's a steamer in here somewhere. Where's that steamer at? Right here. I have a steamer sitting right here, an industrial steamer like you would see at a cleaner's, where you would steam all the clothes and get the wrinkles out for the photographs. And after that, you would lay them out, and or hang them up and would actually take photographs. And I bought mannequins, I had racks, I had the whole nine. And that was going really good. I had over 1,500 items listed. No, I had Ink Frog, I think, was the app that I used, so I could put them all up on the Ink Frog, and it would kind of hold the templates for me. And if this was a blouse or a shirt or jeans, they would kind of fill in a lot of the information for me. And then I could set, have them all in the queue and set them to go live at a certain time. So that was a real big investment. I think Ink Frog was like $100 and something a month. I don't recall if I paid monthly or if I paid $4 in a year, but I was paying a pretty good amount of money. I think it was $100 or $120 a month that I had to pay for that software to list my items on eBay for me, and then I could pull them down. Just do whatever you needed to do. It was a whole software integration deal with eBay. And from there, it really got monotonous because you were just doing the same thing over and over, sorting through bags, stinky clothes, steaming them, photographing them, and it just took so much time. And after you did all that, you had to list it, and when you made the sale, I had to get off work, I had to hurry to the warehouse, try to get everything packed up to ship out. Print labels. I had label printers. I still have label printers up here on my shelves. Man, I just had the whole thing. I used to ship through Pirate Ship. Yeah, Pirate Ship. I think they still give you some of the best prices in shipping. If you're shipping large items or if you're shipping in bulk, whatnot. Then I knew everybody at the post office, man, because I was there just about every day. Man, I was there just about every day. Oh man, that was great times though. Like, those were really great people. They knew me when I came in, and that was at a big post office. So, I had 5 people up there at the counter, and I knew every one of them, and they knew me. That were good times, but like I said, it got monotonous, and it really went bad when I took the trip to Disney. I took the family down to Orlando. We were having a great time, and before I left, I put a notice on my store that shipping may be delayed because of vacation. I went into eBay and put, I'll be out of town from this date to this date, and I thought everything was great. I had, lots of sales while I was gone. I think I had like 40 sales. And before I got back, I started getting dinged on eBay. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And they said that I hadn't shipped out the packages. And I'm like, well, no, I hadn't shipped them out because I'm on vacation. I put it, on the eBay. But there was another step that I didn't know about because I've never went on vacation before. So there was another step inside of eBay, in addition to what I had already did, that I had to actually go in and kind of like notify eBay that nothing is going to be shipped. They put a banner on my store from what I did, and there was another layer in there that I did that let the customer know, even with that banner, it had it on the listing that sellers out of town, is way. But there was a third layer that I did not do. So I went from being this top rated seller to having all these dings, and during their being suspended, I was on the phone with eBay for a couple of hours trying to get it sorted out, and they knocked off some of them, and they said, okay, we understand, but these are past due. So I had like 10 or 12 that were, maybe 8 to 12 that they said they couldn't do anything about. And I'm paying for premium seller eBay. It was just a whole mess. And with the amount of time I was putting off into eBay, the amount of work, I was paying $300, $400, maybe $500, paying $500 a month for the warehouse, the software, eBay, then giving them a percentage. And it was taking so much of my time. And when that happened, it was just so disheartening to me, man. It just really, I won't say broke me, but because I don't really break, I get mad. And I got so upset with eBay and the process and, you know, just what had happened to me thinking I did the right thing. And they really literally took my store down for a little bit and it came back. But then when you get these dings, your rate that you have to pay eBay actually goes up. You know, that's why people say that being poor in America is just one of the worst things that you could be. And as it relates to eBay, when you don't have money or you're late on your bills and stuff, they even charge you even more for, you know, the money you don't have. So now on eBay, since I have these negative dings, they're actually charging me more fees to sell products, you know, and it's just so freaking disheartening, man. I was just so peeved at eBay. And I saw Mike Sneed and I saw JT Hustles, and I watched them a few times, and then I was like, yo, it was something that I was thinking about before I went to Orlando. But after what happened in Orlando, I really was like, yo, I gotta freaking transition. I gotta get out of this because, like, I'm not doing this. So I'm convinced now. I've watched YouTube videos with them, and now I'm convinced it's like that time. So I pay for the hands-on training. I fly out to North Carolina and get me a hotel, and I go in there and I'm learning. You know, it's a great class, weekend class. I flew into Atlanta, and I drove from Atlanta to North Carolina. Yeah. So, man, that was an experience in itself, and that we don't have to talk about that here on YouTube. But yeah, the class was great. I would highly recommend any of you guys who are aspiring to be in the appliance repair industry and you have no experience. I would tell you to get with Mike Sneed if you need to get that hands-on and fly down there, or they have the classes that you can actually just take online, but you're going to need to get your let me get back to my presentation. You're going to need to actually get some hands-on experience. So that's why I always tell people to pick up appliances off the street so that you can get your hands dirty, start to understand the anatomy of appliances, and just move in that direction so that you can have a hands-on feel for appliances. We don't want you to ever go out to a customer's house and never have touched an appliance. Like, that would be crazy. All right. Over here to the next slide. Starting my LLC, man, that was a crazy time too, because I just didn't know what I didn't know, and every state's different with your LLC and the laws, and I was listening to someone over here about getting a holding company. So I had a holding company, I had 3 LLCs, man, I had all kind of stuff going on. I did it all myself. I figured it all out, but you know, like, just get your basic LLC, start your business, get your business bank account. If you go to Mike Sneed, he's going to give you the formula. Follow that formula. You know, if you're listening to too many plans and too many guides and too many people, you're going to mix up and mash up stuff, and you'll be like me, you know. So I don't want you to do that, and You know, I just went through a lot of mess doing it that way. So just get your LLC business bank account, and then you'll get your insurance after you figure out what the requirements are going to be for the warranty companies and whatnot. Let's go to the next slide. All right, so the reality of slow time. So I got my LLC and I signed up for warranty companies, and everything was just so slow down here in Dallas. I couldn't get hardly any traction, and man, I was just, is this gonna work? What's going on? And then I heard another person say the same thing. This market down here in Dallas was so tough and saturated. There really wasn't a lot of warranty work to go around, especially for somebody new and that they hadn't had in their system. So not every moment is exciting when you're running this business. There are going to be tough times. I had a lot of slow times. If you see some of my other earlier videos, I talk about it. I stared at my phone and I was wondering when the calls were coming, where they were coming from. I signed up with like 3 warranty companies. And if you go through that, I know it's going to be tough, but just keep persevering, because I went through it. And I'll tell you what I did, which I really wouldn't advise you to do. I started to pay for leads on Angie's List, Home Advisor, and later Thumbtack. And I think I know I have a breakdown of doing that, but I don't want you guys to start out that way, because it took me having my job to actually fund a lot of that. And I did a lot of it the wrong way. I wasn't charging right, and that's where my mentor comes in. Like, I did a lot of things wrong when I had Angie's List and Home Advisor. Signed a year contract with Angie's List, like just wasting money, didn't know what I was doing. And you know, you really have to be on top of your game when you're doing that. And when I was doing it, I was by myself. My wife hadn't started helping me at that time. So thank God I had the ability to actually pick up my business phone and answer those phone calls, because when you play that game, you have to be the first one available to actually get out there. And if not, you need to have one of the cheaper prices. That was a whole big thing. And if you guys want me to do a breakdown on Angie's List, Home Advisor, and Thumbtack, and give you the pros and cons as I know it from when they still call me like every week. My profile's still up there. I was killing it, but I wasn't making any money because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So if you want a dedicated video to that, go down in the comments and put a number 5. So a number 5, and I'll go back and I'll redo a dedicated video with my bullets and points and my PowerPoint, so that I won't miss anything for you guys. All right, so next slide. Warranty companies and cash calls. I began working with the warranty companies. Like I said, it was slow. They provided a steady stream of jobs. But again, at this point, I still didn't know what to charge, how to charge. You know, I took some of the advice that I was given, but I didn't take all of the advice. And I would advise you guys to take all of the advice. Don't piece things together. I'm always thinking I'm smarter, you know, than the whole, and I'm thinking I'm doing something, you know, who knows. But it wasn't right. And listen to me, man. I'm telling you, I can mess up just about anything thinking I can do it my way. I've always been a my way type of person. So listen, do not try and deviate from the plan, guys. Pay attention, take heed, and do what you are supposed to do, what you're instructed to do. That's the number one rule. Can you follow instructions? You know, to be a great leader, you have to be a great follower first. And I wasn't a great follower at first. So yeah, but the warranty companies, they gave me a steady stream of cash, and I trickled in some cash calls. and didn't know what I was doing, didn't charge correctly. I was spinning my wheels. I was running everywhere, doing everything. I mean, garbage disposal installs, garbage disposals, clear outs, whereas with a jam, I just had it going on. I got really, really good at that stuff. Really good at clearing out jams and garbage disposal. Yeah, I got really good at it. But you don't want to run around all day for 85 bucks, 90 bucks doing that. So eventually the power of YouTube is what helped me, and what you guys are on right now watching me. I started to find another mentor, Miss Ward, and she kind of put me on the right path for me, kind of tailored everything for me. And I would advise you guys, if you're already into appliance repair and you just kind of hit a point where you're stuck and you need to get over the hump, I would very, very much recommend that you give Miss Ward a call if you're serious about moving to the next level, because she can put you on the path and walk you through some of your hurdles and roadblocks like she did me. My wife was on the calls with me, the video calls, and we went over business. We went over the structure, what was best for my company, seeing as how I'm going to be a appliance repair that's after work. So, all those things you need to take into account, and you need someone who's going to actually look out for you and help you be the best person you can be in your business and be the best business for you and the lifestyle that you want to live. As I was saying, I would advise you to grab a mentor to help you to sort out your business and to build it the best way you can for yourself. Not what I'm doing, not what someone else is doing on YouTube, but for you. And that is going to be the best thing that you can do for yourself and for your business. You don't want to go out and model yourself after someone who works full-time and works a full-time job and then does appliance repair on the side. If you're going to be a full-time operator of your appliance repair business, if you get what I'm saying, you need to get with someone so that you can model your business in the correct way, not someone who's going to, give you bits and pieces. You want the whole pie, and you need personalized help. And that's why I say get you a mentor. My mentor was starting the business with Mike Sneed. To fine tune it was Miss Ward. And I think that either of those, depending on where you are in your journey, would be a great choice. I get a lot of questions about, do I mentor? And I really hadn't started mentoring. But if there's an interest in that and someone's really serious, about that, then we can figure out how to get a group of people and mentor them and help them out. My time is limited. Like I say, I work a full-time job. I run appliance repair on the side, and my company gets a lot of calls. So, it has to be worth my while to do that, because I'm taking away time from my family and from myself, and personal time is big. All right, guys, so what I have done is started a newsletter. You can always sign up for the newsletter below. March will be the first issue of the newsletter going out. I've been working on designs, working on it, getting it together, and it'll just get better with time. But if you want to, you can go down below, right in there, the first link or the pinned comment, and sign up for the newsletter. And we'll go from there, and we'll grow this thing out and make it bigger, better, and better for you guys, to help you. I'm giving you the real deal, not some fluff. I'm telling you the truth, not just trying to make myself look good on YouTube. I'm trying to actually help you guys be better at appliance repair. And our goal here on this channel is to have you guys with a full-time job working appliance repair on the side. So if you don't fall into that demographic, or if you don't like that idea, then this channel might not be for you.